Hi, and welcome to episode 2 of the Diary of an SEO. It's Peter here, and today we're going to be looking at how I'm handling a new client, and this client is actually a financial advisor. Now, this is a fairly notoriously competitive niche that also falls in what Google calls your money, your life, YMYL, which means anything to do with finances and health. Google do pay particular attention to, and the principles of EEAT, or expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness, particularly do come into play. Now, this is a client with an existing website that's been around for a little while, but when they built the website, it had absolutely zero SEO optimization. So I'm going to show you that and what we've done in the first couple of weeks to get this site cranking from an SEO perspective. Although, of course, being a competitive niche, this is only just the beginning, but we do have some number one rankings already for the very low competition, local suburb related searches, which is encouraging. And I'll show you the rest of the on-page things that we've done, just a brief overview. So let's go over to the screen now. Okay, so of course, the first thing that we do is to do a keyword research report for the client, which we did a few months ago. And so myself and my team just went through some of the major terms that this website would look at trying to rank for, including some of the geographical terms, as this particular client has locations in 3 different locations, main one in Brisbane and then 2 other regional, or not regional, but more distant locations. So we did a fairly comprehensive report around that. And then we went through using that keyword research and mapped out, according to the agreement that we had with the client, what they wanted us to do, what pages they wanted us to focus on. So we ended up with obviously the home page. So we needed to decide which keywords we were going to target for the home page. And this was a little bit difficult because still the major term is going to be financial advisors Brisbane, which is a very competitive term. We did look at, and what's quite interesting to note when you're doing this kind of keyword research is there are different search volumes associated with financial advisors, spelt with an O, and financial advisors, spelt with an E. And then also you've got financial planners and financial planning. So they, and each of those have different search volumes. So for instance, you can see here, financial advisors Brisbane, it gets 260 searches a month. Financial advisors Brisbane, 210. Financial advisor Brisbane in the singular gets 1,900 searches a month. And this is, I would say, somewhat unusual, maybe not so much in Australia, but usually you would see the singular and the plural being treated as relatively synonymous by Google. But in this case, there's a vast difference in search volume between advisors and advisor, the latter being 1,900. So obviously this is going to be a much more competitive term. So we've steered well away from this because this website, as it stands, does not have a lot of inbuilt authority in Google. So we went for advisors and we built that into the title tag for the homepage, but because this is an umbrella and the homepage is an umbrella page for the rest of the operations as well, we've included the 2 other locations. So pretty well we've gone through and just looked at the different keywords that we would hope to rank for and we can target from as little as, say, a very local suburb one where they're actually based in each of their locations. In this case for Brisbane is Financial Advisor West End. So from that through to obviously the bigger one, which is Financial Advisors Brisbane, Financial Advisor Sunshine Coast, etc. Now, we then also moved on to their About Us page. So their About Us page, it lends itself to targeting the West End location. So that's what we decided to do in this case. So we're targeting with a title tag. So we're targeting this with a title tag, Leading Financial Advisors and Planners, West End, Brisbane, About Us. And in this case, we decided to set up a couple of other About Us pages, which are sub pages of the overarching About Us page. And that will target Financial Planners Toowoomba and Financial Planning Sunshine Coast. And then we're going to create some specific topical pages. And we covered what a topical page is in episode 1 of the Diary of an SEO. So if you wanted to go back and have a look at that, that is on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube. So then we had a specific page no, we didn't have a specific page. I think we built that into the Sunshine Coast page, their actual location in the Sunshine Coast, which is Marcoola. So that was one of the ones that we ranked number 1 for now, whereas it previously only was ranked number 2. So that's good. Then we moved through their various specialties. So they wanted us to focus on these ones: superannuation, retirement planning, investments, and self-managed superannuation funds or self-managed superannuation advisors. And so we basically went through and used the keyword research, did some extra keyword research and built out title tags and then description tags for these genres of keywords. So in this case, superannuation, we found out that superannuation advice, Brisbane, for instance, has 90 searches a month. So that's worth having. But that seemed to be the general structure of keywords that is best for us to target. Similarly with retirement, so it's retirement planning advice. So that's one of the ones we targeted there, retirement planning advice, Brisbane. Investment planning, there didn't seem to be much in the way of planning advice or investment advice. So investment planning is what we went for. And self-managed superannuation funds. So this is where it's important to really do your keyword research carefully and with some human intelligence. And it turns out there's very little search volume for self-managed superannuation. There was nothing for self-managed superannuation advisor. Whereas for SMSF advisor, there was 480 searches a month, SMSF standing for self-managed super fund. So really there, what we see is, not surprisingly, people are searching for the abbreviation and terms related to that, not for the full spelling. And so this is what we basically use to guide our way through. And then, so we've made some initial, quite a few extensive changes already. And what we can do now is, this is about, I suppose, 10 days in. So we've made some changes to copy, title tags and that type of thing. And now we can go to Google and put in the site modifier to actually look at what is ranking, and actually look at what is indexed already. So we can see here that the homepage now, which I think previously it had a title tag of Home::Varia, which is the name of the business. That was it. So now we've changed that to Top Financial Advisors, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast and Toowoomba, which doesn't show, but that's fine. And then you can see there's a lot here of some of the financial planners, but then here we've got in the About Us, Leading Financial Advisors and Planners, West End, Brisbane. So that one's indexed. And I think there's a couple of others. There's some that have been a bit slow to index. There we go. Superannuation advice, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast. Okay, so these are the services pages. We haven't done full on-page optimization of those yet. So let's just, out of interest, do a search. And if we go superannuation, if I can spell that. So there's the term. We can see it gets 90 searches a month. So this is a decent term. It's not setting the world on fire, but this is worthwhile targeting. So remember, this is only just a few days really since we've made these changes, and we've only made changes to the meta tag pretty well at this stage. I think maybe we changed the H1, and look, there we are. We're ranking already on page 1, albeit, only number 9. So that's okay. And if we do the same for instance, Toowoomba, you would expect the more distant areas to be less competitive. That's very good. So we're now number 1. Yeah, that's not sponsored. 1, 2, 3, number 4 for Toowoomba already. These, by the way, in our what's very important to do when you start with a new website is that you go through and do your baseline rankings. Okay, so you know what it used to rank for. So as you can see here, with only really one exception of Financial Advisor West End, it's ranking 0. Oh, there was another one. Not sure what that is. Oh, and Markula, that did have a ranking. Now ranks number 1 anyway. So you can see, but most of these proper terms, the terms that get a bit of traffic, are 0. So that's an important thing to do. So already we've made some drastic improvements in less than 10 days, I would say. Let's just, out of interest, have a look at, now these don't necessarily, these 2 more distant locations they're not recording a huge search volume, but we do know that is the format that people will search for. So it definitely will come up as a Google suggest term there. So let's scroll down. I think this was a bit more competitive, this one. So we're not, strangely enough, we're not actually on page 1 there yet. So we're right on the cusp. We're on page 11. Okay. So this is without any backlinks, without anything like that at all. So that is pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And then as we go through, I think the other ones self-managed hasn't indexed yet. Financial Planners Toowoomba, there's the About Us page. And let's have a look at Financial Planning Sunshine Coast. I'm not going to go through every single one of these because too long. Financial Planning Sunshine Coast. Let's have a look at that quickly. I don't expect it to be on page 1 at this point in time. And so let's see. Nope, so it's not on page 2. That's interesting because I think if we go Financial Advisors Brisbane. No, wait a minute. What was the term? See, now this is interesting here. This is showing a ridiculous amount of searches. Oh no, 260. That's right. Financial Advisors Brisbane. So we certainly won't be on page 1 for that. But let's just have a look through, and boom, we're on page 2 in position 9 or 10, 8 or 9, 9. So that's great for this is the major term. So without any backlinking, anything like that. So this is fantastic. And then if we go, for instance, to look at a very local search in the Sunshine Coast, Markula, where their office is, and you can see they ranking number 1 there. They also ranking in the maps pack here. They did rank there previously, so I'm not taking any credit for that. But pretty much whatever we put in here, Financial Planners, Markula, etc., they're going to rank number 1 for that now, with a nice, full listing that's very clear. Bit of a photo there as well. Now you might say, well, what's the value of that? Well, what the value of this could be is if someone local went down to this beach in Markula and happened to walk past their office. I thought, Varia Financial Planners. That's right. I meant to go and see a financial planner. I live just down the road. So, and then they think, oh yeah, I must do that. And then they get home and they think, oh, what was that brand name again? Can't remember it. So they Google Financial Planners Markula and bang, up they come, number 1. So that is why you would also not diss this kind of result just because it's not going to get a lot of searches a month. So There we go. That is an overview of what we've done, and we will continue to look at this client as it progresses over the coming months. Hope that's been helpful.